Hello, happy Wednesday, my peaceful and profitable entrepreneurs. I am so glad to be here today. We are talking about the secret behind booking clients and making sales this time of the year and getting fully booked for 2024 because that all starts now. So I'm really excited to dive into this with y'all today. So if you're in the US, I hope you had an amazing Thanksgiving. We had like the best Thanksgiving I've ever had. So truly, it was amazing. I know that this isn't a popular opinion, but I don't love Thanksgiving. I don't want to spend my day off making a turkey and dressing and all that stuff. Like, it's just not my thing. So we went to the mountains. It was beautiful weather. We went for a hike. Like, we went and saw this amazing waterfall and just had a great time. It was just our family of 5 and the dog, so it was literally like my dream Thanksgiving. My husband cooked bolognese. We went for more walks in the woods. If y'all know, we were up there the whole month of July, so we went back to the same spot, and now all the leaves were down, and I think it's just as beautiful in the winter as it is in the summer. Like, you could see through the trees so much farther. You could see the ridges of the mountains. Like, the sun would shine through the trees. The moon, it was almost a full moon, would shine through. Like, at night, I'd wake up and just be like basking in the light of the almost full moon. And it was just lovely. Our dog, Penny, was there with us. There she is. She blended in with the leaves. It was really funny. She was like camouflaged and everything. And she just goes off leash and runs around and just lived her best life. So it was great. I hope all of y'all had an amazing Thanksgiving, and here we are. So we're going to dive in because this is something that is just obviously like been coming up with clients. And so I always want to bring that here because I know if it's coming up for them, it's coming up for y'all. And I always want to tell my clients and y'all that you can use me as evidence, like borrow my evidence, borrow what can happen, what's possible for you. And so when I heard clients saying like no one buys this time of year, it was like, oh, interesting. Like, I've had 3 people buy from me this month. So really want to like give that to you as evidence. And, you know, one of the clients that we were having a conversation around this, you know, she literally said, no one buys this time of year. And then yesterday she messaged me on Boxer, which is the support where my one-to-one clients have unlimited support in between our sessions, and said that she booked a client. So this was just great evidence for her brain, and then also to give to you, to show you what's possible. And we're really going to focus on the mindset and the strategy behind this today. Typically, if you've been here, you know I walk through my framework of mindset, strategy, organize, implement. And today it's just very focused on mindset and strategy because I have multiple things under each one of those. And so I think that'll be enough today. So that is kind of like why we're talking about this today, because I know this comes up so often for people. I see this on Instagram, you know, the memes or whatever, you know, of just like, oh, this is the time of year where people are like, I'll circle back to you. And I really want to, you know, not like, we are not the people that just check out this time of year. Like, definitely want you to have time off. I'm taking time off. Like, this isn't like must hustle and grind, but it's like you still get to have sales this time of year. So we're going to dive into that. It basically boils down to mindset and strategy. So there's still time left in the year. You know, it is almost December, so you still have a full like 32 days left of the year, which is plenty of time to like still book clients and make sales. And then what we're doing now is literally creating our results in 2024. So the people who have hired me recently, they want results in 2024, and they know that now is the best time to start getting those results. And for you, thinking about your people and your potential clients, like, I don't know all of you personally or your business, but my guess is the problem that your clients have doesn't just go away this time of year. Like, if you're like me, it probably gets amplified. Like, my clients' problem is amplified because it's the end of the year and they haven't like made the sales that they want. They haven't gotten fully booked. They still aren't making like 10K or 5K or 7K a month. Like, they are still like struggling, and this time of the year is just kind of like making it even more clear for them when they're like, oh shit, like, it's almost the end of the year and I haven't made the sales that I want and I haven't booked the clients that I want. So let me get some support. So again, I'm not sure exactly what your business is. Feel free to share it and drop in the comments. I want this to be supportive to you. Ask your questions, leave your comments. We have a special giveaway. I'll give away my masterclass, Creating Sales Promos Masterclass. So that's a good one. we have it for sale on the website, but I always, as a thank you, want to, anyone who enters or joins lives, whoever questions or comments will be entered to win. Where was I going for that? Oh, but it's like this time of year doesn't mean that the problems go away. And so we just want to be very mindful that, we can still book clients and do that in a way that's not like yucky or like really just like taking advantage of people's pain points, but really just like helps them get what they want so that they can get more results in 2024. So my client who just booked her own client, this was someone she'd been talking to for a while, and it finally just, cultivated, and they got together and had the call, and, she was amazed at how easy it was. And it's like, yeah, business gets to be easy, easeful. Like it gets to be easeful once you've kind of built this momentum and do the things we're talking about today. It's just like, oh yeah. And that's, I was bringing it to her, like, this is kind of when businesses will self-sabotage because it does feel easy, and they're like, what am I missing? What am I doing something wrong? Like, let me make things harder. So this is just like, I love having this conversation. So please ask your questions. I know we've got people jumping on or catching the replay. We will always answer your questions. So be sure to ask them, because that's what this is for. So let's dive in. We're going to start with mindset. And I take the mindset that people are ready to buy from me right now. And I know it like sounds so simple, and it really is, because when I have that mindset, it totally affects how I do everything. It affects how I show up on this live stream. It affects how I have my free calls. It affects how I promote my free calls. Like, I just expect that like people are going to buy from me. Like, I have a December intensive that's opening. Like, I know that spot's going to get filled. We have a one-to-one spot opening in January. Like, I just know that that'll get filled. Like, I just have this expectation of like, this is how things go, and this is how my business goes, and I'm the type of person who makes sales and books clients this time of year, and like, that's like the place to start. So if you're sitting there and you're like, no one buys this time of year, it's going to be really hard to book a client. Like, if you're showing up, or probably not showing up, with this energy of like, no one buys right now, like, what's even the point? You're probably not promoting your stuff. You're probably not really going all in on whatever the freebie or the audit or whatever it is that you offer. Like, you're probably just kind of like tapping out. And like, we can totally lean back this time of year. Like, I'm going to take off time in December. I just took off time for Thanksgiving, but like, I'm still showing up and selling. And we have multiple previous live streams. If you want more information on basically like the organization and the implementation piece of that, like, reach out to me, or just kind of scroll back through the live streams pinned at the top, because we have like multiple conversations recently about how to literally organize your business to take time off during the holidays. So go back and watch those. I'm not going to dive into that today, but it's still possible to have everything going out like normal, even if you're not like totally in it, but still having this energy and this expectancy of like, I make sales, I book clients this time of year is huge. And it's called the expectancy theory. There's tons of data. There's tons of research out there. Like, y'all know I am woo, but all of this stuff is backed up with science. And so that's why I am like even more sold on it. There's tons of examples. I recently read about, I don't know where I read it, read about a study that they did, and it was like surgery. So all these people needed like a knee surgery, and they grouped, half of the group got the knee surgery, and the other half, they made like 4 incisions and told them that they had the surgery. And when they followed up with them, months, years later, like, the people who thought they had the surgery were like literally just doing as well as the people who actually got this surgery. And so it's just this like, that's just science. Like, our brains literally, we get what we expect type of thing. It's like the placebo effect when they're testing medications. It's like the medication has to do better than just the placebo effect of people thinking that it's doing something, because our brains are so powerful. Like, if we think this medication is going to help us and it's literally a sugar pill, like, it's going to cure all kinds of stuff, because our brains are just that powerful, and that's what we're expecting it to do. So it's all that woo, like what you focus on expands, kind of all that. But it's just so rooted in science, and it's just so applicable here. So that's what I want to start with, that like, expecting these things is like the foundational piece of this, and what I would invite any of my clients or any of you out there to start with And even if you don't have evidence in your business, like borrow evidence from my business, borrow evidence from my client. Like we are literally booking clients. I do revenue share, and I know that my clients, I'll ask in December for them to report new revenue. Like most of those clients have new revenue to report because they have all booked new clients. One of my clients had 0 to 5K this month. Like it was really exciting, and this is totally different client that I haven't mentioned yet. So we have all these examples to give you. So take these and use these as your evidence. So when your brain is kicking up like, no one buys this time of year, or it's just a slow time of year, it's like literally be like, Jordan has 2 VIP clients and an intensive. Her client had this new client. Her other client booked $5,000 of new revenue. Like literally just use that as your evidence so that your brain can just unhook from that old story that doesn't serve you and just like bring in a new one of like, we can choose to believe whichever. Like you can choose to believe that no one buys this time of year. Like that's totally up to you. Or you can choose that people do buy this time of the year, and that there are like 3 examples I'm giving you right now of people who have made, 0 to 10K this month. Like it is all there. It's just what you choose to like focus on and let that be like your evidence and your truth. So even if you're like, I can look back at last December. Like I booked clients last December for January of 2023. And so I have that evidence from last year too. So even if you don't have that evidence, like pull this in and make it yours, like let your brain just be like, hey, like this does happen. This is a thing for people. People buy this time of year. My potential clients still have the problem that I solve. And so like, let me lean into that, because like, that is just the foundational piece of this. So we're going to go into more, it's still mindset, but it's strategy. Like mindset is our strategy piece. So we also, we also want to just like normalize this. Like I think that's important on my end and with my clients. It's like, this is normal. Like this isn't like a surprise, like, oh my gosh, someone bought this time of year. It's like, no, this is just normal. This is like any other month. Like this is like, November and December are 2 months out of the year, and this is just like every other month when people buy from me. It's not like, whoa, holy shit, like what's going on? Just like let this be normal for you, and just telling yourself, like, for me, I'm like, it literally happened last year, and now I'm like, and I've got another year of experience with this, and I've got clients' experiences with this. So just let this be your new normal, and just seeing that like it's not really a thing. So in order to make this normal for you, we're kind of going to walk through a couple of things here that's like really, and this is something I was talking about with my coach the other day, and that I just read in this other book. It came up twice this week, so I feel like it's important to talk about. And I'm going to screw this up. I wish I'd looked it up. But it's like thoughts are the brain's, way of thinking, and then like the body works through feelings. And so we really we can have good thoughts, and we can, have positive affirmations or good mindset, but like literally our body is like slower to catch up because it's going on decades and generations of like just like how our body responds with our central nervous system. So we need to kind of let our body know that it's safe and that it's normal. So in our head we can see like, oh, this is normal, and oh, I have a good mindset, but like we really have to like get our body on board with that, because it's trying to play catch up, because it's going off of like, like we respond to financial stress in the same way our ancestors responded to saber-toothed tiger. Like it's like it really literally causes that stress in our body like that. And so like, okay, our minds are on board, but we've got to like get our body on board. And so the first thing to do this is like, and this is what I do, and there's probably other things you can do too, but about like deep intentional breathing, like signaling to your body that everything is okay, everything is safe. So like your brain, maybe is on board, but you've got to just like sit there and let your body get on board with it. Like sitting, grounding into a chair, there's like the deep breathing, I think is just so helpful, of like intentionally breathing in through your nose, exhaling out through your mouth. Just like, it sounds so simple, and you're probably like, Jordan, why are you talking about this right now? But like, we've got to like connect the brain and the body so that they're both on board and they both feel safe, so that this can like really become your truth. So just like letting your body know it's okay, sitting into the chair, feeling it against your whole body, laying down on the floor, letting it, the ground, like hold all of your weight, pressing up against a wall, pressing hands together, shaking hands, jumping jacks, like whatever you need to do to like either ground into the earth and feel good, or like shake off the anxiety and flick it out. Dance. I did a whole master class about this a few months ago, so if you want that, let me know, but I go through like a lot of stuff there. Tons of resources on the internet. There's EFT tapping, there's all kinds of stuff, but literally just like make sure that your body is on board with your brain, because we want that connection to really seep in and feel like deep in the fibers of your being, because that is what it's going to make change, and that is going to make this click in and actually work for you. So that's kind of the first piece. I also like to play with looking at the future version of yourself. So like looking at that version of yourself and be like, this is normal for her. Like I have this like next version of myself, this whole identity that I've created. Her name is not Jordan. I've named her something else. She has this whole persona I've come up with. So I will literally look to her and be like, of course she's booking clients in November and December. Of course, like she books clients every year, every month of the year. You know, like this is just normal for her. And so obviously like creating that identity, something I work on with my clients and that I really invite you to do, is to really ground into that person and then seeing that like this is just normal for them. Like if you think about anyone that you look up to, any of your mentors, any coaches you really respect, or anyone in your field, like just looking up to them and be like, that's normal for them. And just seeing that like, okay, like let me move that. Like, okay, I'm looking at them and yes, they have all these things and that's normal. So let me just like create my own identity and like make that normal for me too. And just see that like they can be the same. Just because it's normal for this person, like I can totally make it normal for this future version of myself. And just see like, okay, maybe, you know, November's gone, but kind of go into December with this like future version of yourself who knows that you just book clients. And then this is where it's so powerful going into 2024, is like you have this version of yourself that you're looking up to, that you're asking for advice, that you're like, how do you think of things? How do you like, you know, you're like, how do you think of money? Like all these things, like rely on them like you would a mentor. And then just use that, because that is what's going to get you fully booked in 2024, is like starting now with this identity shift and seeing your future self, which is 2024, and seeing like, you know, that you get fully booked and that you book clients no matter what time of year it is, and just like grounding into that and visualizing it. Like visualizing is just so powerful. And so that's just a tool you can use while you're brushing your teeth, while you're like waiting in line, you know, at your school pickup for your kids. Like just bring that future version of yourself into your mind, just to have that and lock in that like this is normal for her and that is you in the future, so it's normal for you. So hopefully that makes sense. Let me know if you have questions about that. And I also like using the verbiage of like a while ago I heard the verbiage of like, I just make sales. Like I'm just someone who makes sales. I'm someone, you know, who makes $5,000 a month. I'm someone who makes $7,500 a month. I'm someone who makes $10,000 a month. I'm someone that most people, when they get on the phone with me, they want to work with me. Like I'm just someone that books clients in November. I'm someone that books clients in December. Like just have that verbiage of like, this is just who I am, and like saying it out loud, like, you know, repeating it. Like I go for walks with Penny in the morning and like I'm always just saying this stuff to myself. Like, you know, and now I've kind of bumped it up. It's like, you know, for a long time it was like, I'm a multi-six-figure business owner, and it's like, okay, that's now true. So now I'm like, okay, I'm always booked at capacity and my spots always fill up. And just like using these, you know, words are just super powerful, because you're literally like lovingly brainwashing yourself to say like, this is who I am and this is how I show up. I think about this all the time. And I know this is like a common example with like runners, but we have the bridge run in Charleston that the starting line is near our house and we can hear it. And like every year I hear that and I'm like, I'm just not a runner. I'm not a runner. And so like there are so many things I'm not doing because I'm not a runner, but like I am someone who works out at 5 a.m. Like I get up and work out every day at 5. On the weekends, maybe that looks like 6 o'clock, but I still get up and I work out. Sundays, maybe I take Penny for a sunrise walk. Like I'm a person who, when the alarm goes off, I just get out of bed, put on my clothes, and I go work out. And like, that's just who I am. So like that is baked into like every single day of my life. I'm not waking up like, oh, oh, do I work out today? Or it's pretty cold, my bed's nice and cozy, like, oh, I want to sleep more. My brain just doesn't even go there. It's literally like, I get up and work out, and this is just what I do. This is who I am. And so using that with anything in life, especially with business, of like, I'm just someone who books clients and makes sales. I'm someone who supports the shit out of my potential clients, and they want to work with me. Like, I just show up as who I am and like get to be authentic in myself, and people just love it. Like, they fucking love it. Like, they love what I put out there. They want to buy from me. They know that like I'm the person to solve the problem they have and to literally change their life. And if you just show up like that as that person, like, it is amazing what can happen. Like, it's just life-changing, honestly. And I know it just, again, it's so simple, but like most people don't do this stuff. Most people are like, no one buys. I'm just not the kind of person that makes that kind of money. I'm not the kind of person that raises rates. I'm not the kind of person that sets boundaries. I'm not the kind of person that does X, Y, Z. And it's just like stop that shit now and just literally show up as someone who does. And just anytime your brain like has that thought, because our brains all do that. It looks different for some of us, like what it is, but like our brains serve that up to us all the time. So just like stop it and try again. Stop it and pick a new thought. I think it's like Gabby Bernstein. It's like, who says the like, choose again, you know, like just stop it and choose again, instead of like going down the rabbit hole of no one books and now my business goes under and 2024 is the worst year ever and then I'm gonna have to close my business and it's like, no, choose again. I'm the kind of person who books sales, who books clients right now and in January and in February. So like, this is the mindset to take like every second of every day, because it's just going to make a huge difference. And something else I wrote down was a Gay Hendricks quote. It's, I am expanding in love, success, and abundance every day. Like, how can I expand into more? Like, just, I love like saying that. I'll say it again. I am expanding in love, success, and abundance every day and helping others do the same. So like, that's something I'll say on my walks, like every, couple steps, I'm saying it again. And then also asking like, how do I expand into more? I think that this is just such a great way. And my coach was talking about this, Kim Argetsinger, on her podcast, One Question, about like, how can you give more, and not from like a over giver or over delivering or just, people pleasing, but just literally like, how can I give more? And I think that just ties in with Thanksgiving so well. Like, my daughters and I have a grateful tree and we put a leaf on it every day. And we also have a grateful notebook where we write down 5 things every day that we're grateful for. And it's just seeing like, how can I expand into more? Like, I already have so much here that I'm grateful for. Like, whether you have 1 client or 10 clients or 20 clients, like being grateful for all that you already have and like serving the shit out of those people and like being so excited to do that work just translates into more, because you're already so excited about what you have. It's kind of like that. If your friend came to you and they're like, well, I'm not going to love myself until my boyfriend proposes to me. And then that really, declares that he loves me. So then I'll love me. Like, no, you'd be like, that's not how it works. Like, you have to love yourself first. And so this is one of those places where it's like really ground into what you have, being grateful for it. And like, that's the next thing I have on my list, celebrating it. Like, how can you celebrate what you have and expand into more? Because celebrating lets our brains know that it's safe. Like, again, there's so much data, there's so much research around this, whether you're celebrating with your favorite meal or a facial, or maybe just an extra cup of coffee that you drink on the porch, or you buy a special tea, or it doesn't even have to cost anything. Like, you take the dog for an extra walk, or you take a walk all by yourself and the husband, cleans up dinner or whatever. Like, whatever it is, like, celebrating helps your brain see that like it's safe. Because if you're sitting there and you're like, I want more clients, but it doesn't feel safe, like, you're not going to want to get more clients. So just let yourself celebrate that and like expand into more, because that's how more comes in. So hopefully that makes sense. Let's see. So this is something I get a little woo here. I'm just reading my notes. This is when I love the book. It's I'm blanking on his name, which is Fulfilled, Wayne Dwyer. Okay, so the first 3 chapters of that book are like gold to me. Like, I have it next to my bed and I read it over and over, like just those 3 chapters all the time. And this is like, it doesn't matter if you believe in God, source, universe, like whatever it is, but it's basically saying like, you are a piece of God, you are a piece of source, you are a piece of the universe. Like whatever you believe, like whoever it is, whatever, that's not really the point here. The point is that you believe that you are inherently worthy because you are part of this higher power. In the book, he gives an example of the ocean and a bucket, and he gets a bucket of the ocean and, walks away. And it's like that bucket of water is no less part of the ocean than like the water in the ocean. And so just seeing that as like being connected to whatever higher power or whatever bigger source or force or consciousness or whatever you believe, like really tapping into that. Sorry, I keep getting these texts. Really thinking about like, that higher power loves me so much that like, of course it wants me to have what I want because I am worthy. I am a piece of it. Like, I think about like my kids and how much I love them. And it's like that power, whatever you call it, it loves you just as much and infinitely more than like we could ever think of loving another human. And so like use that and be like, I am so worthy just because I am part of that being. I'm part of that consciousness. Like it wants me to have what I want. So whether you have one client and you want 5, or you have 10 clients and you want 20, like whatever, it feels big to us as a human, but like nothing is too big for God, source, universe, higher power, consciousness, whatever you call it. Again, it doesn't matter. It's more of the fact of like that, like, 1 extra client or 5 extra clients or 10 extra clients or $10,000 or $20,000, like that to this higher power is just not a big deal at all. And so like seeing it as like, in the grand scheme of things, if I want 5 more clients, like that's really not that big of an ask. Like this thing loves me so much. This power loves me so much. I am part of it. We are, co-creating this thing together, and just like grounding into that. And I know that this is like, I don't know where you are on the scale of like woo, but I'm going there, and my background is accounting. It's numbers. I'm very left brain. I'm masculine energy, gravitate towards that. But like, this is just stuff that like I have just seen to make a huge difference in my life. And when my clients tap into this and just see that like, yeah, it feels big to me to want 5 clients or 10 clients or $7,500 a month or $10,000 a month or 15 a month. But like in the grand scheme of things, it's really not big. And like, what I want wants me, and this higher power wants me to have what I want. It's full of abundance. It's full of possibilities. Like possibilities are limitless. Like it's limitless how someone can find you online. Like especially in this day of age with the online space, with the internet, like there are so many ways people can find you and want to work with you. And so it's really like not a big deal to get those 5, 10, 20 clients. It's just like a drop in the bucket for God, source, universe. Like we as a human feel like it's a big ask, but like in the grand scheme of things, to just see that like it's not that big of an ask. Like what you want wants you back. And so for you and God, source, universe to come together and co-create this thing, it's like it's totally plausible, feasible. Miracles happen, like crazy things happen, and it's also not crazy because it's also just science and just how things work. So that's my piece on that. So that leads to kind of the strategy piece. Which again, I really am saying that mindset is like the main strategy piece of this. But we're going to break it down. Like if I'm looking at the 3 people that bought from me this month, so, 2 high level yeses and an intensive messaging container. If I'm looking at that, so the first strategy, I've got 3, 4 here. And I'll always be mindful of the time, but the first real like strategy piece that you can like sink your teeth into and like come up with something now and like roll out in 2024 is to really just nurture relationships. Like I looked at all 3 of these people have been in my field and my audience for the past 3 to 7 months. Like the longest was 7 months and the shortest was 3 months. So that's just something that like it doesn't matter what time of the year. If it takes someone 3 to 7 months to buy from you, like that's just good to know. Like as I'm going into 2024, I just know that like the stuff I'm saying on this live stream today, the stuff I'm putting out in my content today, the newsletters I'm sending out, like all of that has a snowball effect that will cultivate in clients in the next 1, 2, 3, 6, 1 year, like however many months. Like I just can see that like it's literally doesn't matter what time of the year it is. It's that I solve a problem that they have and they just happen to be ready this time of year to do it. Like they're ready to get out of their own way. They're tired of things not working. Like they're tired of messing around and wasting time and energy and not knowing what works and not making the money that they want. And now it's just like, okay, it's just come to a head. Like something I said spoke to them, something got them off the fence. And so really just seeing that like, no matter what time of year it is, whether you're like, okay, no one buys in January or February, no one buys in the summer, no one buys in the holidays, like somebody has to be buying. Like there can't just be these big pockets of time during the year where no one's buying, but it's like seeing that all year long, you are taking a sales action every day. You're building a relationship every single day. Whether it's a client now or a client later, it doesn't matter, but like taking those sales actions to build genuine relationships now is like the just key to all of this. So it's like we had the mindset piece and now it's like nurturing relationships other than mindset is like your number one job, because that's all a client is. That's all a customer is. It's a relationship that someone has built and now they're ready to buy from you. Like there's a million other coaches people could have hired, but like one of them specifically was like, I want to work with you because of these things, because of your background in data, because you have been a bookkeeper and you know this stuff. And like there were just so many reasons that it was like me out of everyone. And so just seeing that like that's just a relationship I've built over the past 3 months. And it also just has to do with like me as a human for the past 8 years. It's like all of this kind of plays in like a puzzle, and it's kind of like that piece of what we just talked about of like God, source, universe, and things kind of just like fit together in ways that we can't imagine. And just always seeing as like, I'm just building relationships. Like that's what I'm doing. You know, I'm speaking to the problem that I solve and why me. And that's why it felt so easy, because like they already knew me at this point. They just felt ready. It just gets to be like fun and easy like that. And so this is where I just go all in on your relationships. Look at where are you nurturing relationships, like genuine relationships, not just like, oh, I have to do this story to promote this online, or I have to get this out, or I have to check this off of my content strategy schedule. Like not going from it with that perspective, but like literally like, this is just a relationship I'm building. Like this person that joined my Instagram that I'm reaching out to, like I'm just literally saying hi as a human. I'm grateful for that you're here. Or people who join my Facebook group. Oh, fun fact, Facebook just told me this group has been around for 2 years, which I did not realize. I think I started it before I actually like did anything with it. So it's been around longer than I've been doing anything, but still fun, 2 years. But I reach out to every person that joins and I'm just like, thank you. And I want to make it personal with, you know, whatever information they filled out with a questionnaire. I want to like reach out to them and speak to that and see them and just know that like, it literally doesn't matter if they buy from me now or later or never, but like, this is just a relationship that I'm building, because that's what business is. Like when people are like, so-and-so is so good at business, or I should have gone to business school so I could like be a business owner. And it's like, business school doesn't teach you jack about this. Business school, like it can teach you how to do accounting. It's not going to teach you even how to do your own accounting. Like you'll learn so much stuff that's not even applicable. So it's like, have this conversation with yourself of like, I'm in the business of building relationships. That's my number one job. Learning about my people, like that is like the number one like strategy piece. So I feel like I've gone off on that a lot, but and this is a note I had, like when people say no one is buying, it's because the person isn't sold on them. It's not that they're not buying, like they're probably buying from someone. It's not that just like, oh, these pockets of the year, like no one's buying anything. It's just they're not sold on you. It's kind of that like, what's the saying? Like he's just not that into you. It's like, it's kind of that, like they just aren't sold on you. Which no shame in that game. I mean, not everybody's going to be a fit client. You know, like I've talked to people that I didn't sell to because it just wasn't a fit. And it's like, I provide a value, wish you the best. That's not up my alley. That's not what I do. Or we don't really have the chemistry that I would recommend. Like it doesn't have to like be like everyone's a fit, but you know, just taking that like, I mean, the right people will buy from you no matter if it's December, January, July, like, so that's the thing that I wanted to finish off with, that strategy piece there, but building relationships and having them see you as the person who solves their problem because you built that relationship. So this goes into the second strategy piece, which is like looking at your messaging. Like, I come back to this all the time in my own business with my clients. We will come up with like an email, set of emails or sales post, and we're always kind of like looking at that. Like, I have a client with a sales page, and we saw with her Google Analytics that she had a ton of visits in November to her sales page, but not a lot of people booked. And so it's like, cool, we got a ton of people there. Like, let's look at the landing page a little bit because something is missing here. People aren't taking the next step. So really just like taking an like honest look at it, step back, like zero in on your messaging, like kind of cut out the noise. Like, this time of year, it's like, it is so noisy. There is so much going on. Like, literally just make it easy to understand. Like, make it very succinct. Meet your people where they're at. Be that much more clear. Why do they need your service now? So I have a couple of clients who are raising rates in 2024. One of them, people can book in right now with their current rates. I did this last year. I added revenue share in 2023. So last year, that December client that booked in, she booked in at the just base rate. And so like, this can really work well. Like, if you are genuinely going to raise your rates, like, let people know that. I have clients who are starting a wait list for 2024. So like, they don't want to roll out a new offer right now, or they're not starting a new program, but they're taking, filling their spots for January. So just looking at like your messaging, where are you meeting people where they're at? Some people, this might be the best time of year for them to like open up something. Like in December, maybe it's like photography or like, I don't know, whatever else you do, holiday planning stuff, anything like that. It's like, this is the time of year that people are booking in. And if that's not you, then like, okay, cool. Like, maybe we just kind of want to take it easy in December, but I'm still opening the spots in January because people want to like feel like they're solving their problem. It's like when I go to a store online and I'm like, well, I'm not going to buy it right now. I'm just going to put it in my cart and kind of feel like I've bought it and maybe see how it feels. It's like, that's kind of where it is. It's like, okay, let them, sign up for it so they can kind of feel like they've done something about it, and then they won't forget about it. And then they're already kind of booked in for January. So really like, think about your messaging. Like, just get really clear, especially, it's noisy out there all the time, but there's just so much stuff out there that like, your stuff needs to just cut through and like reach people. And so that's something I'm doing on my messaging intensive this month. Again, I have one opening next month if you want some support around that, because December, to get this ready and then roll it out in January, like, you're just going to set yourself up so much better. You're going to be sitting pretty, as they say, or whatever the saying is, sitting pretty. But it's basically like, you want people to take an action. And so it's like, cool, this is something we're always working on. Like, I'll have my clients create, and I have this myself, like a content that converted document. And it's like, okay, someone booked a call off of this. Someone booked a free audit off of this. Someone booked in your membership from this. Someone, signed up for your newsletter from this piece of content, and really like keeping it all together. So that helps you like zero in your messaging. It's like, okay, when I talk about these things, people really like it. People are picking that up. They're picking up what I'm putting down. Like, that's when you can really like build momentum, because you're like really zeroing in on that. So look at your messaging, get really clear, and just like meet them where they're at, so that like they can connect the dots and be like, okay, yeah, this is you. It's not just like, let me halfway kind of say it, but not really promote myself, but not really speak to the problem that you have that I solve. Like, none of that bullshit. Like, it's got to be very clear. So if you need support with this, we've got a spot opening in December. I would love to see you on that. So number 3, and this is where it kind of, don't want it to get confusing, but like, I'm leaning out this time of year. I'm not like going all in, but I'm still selling my face off. We are selling somewhere every single day. So number 3 is lean in when others are leaning out. So a lot of people are going to tap out right now. Like, a lot of people are saying, people aren't buying, check back in with me next year. Like, they're not promoting their offers. Like, they're taking as like, no one's buying, so why am I going to bother? So this is like, if you're here and you're still speaking to the problem you solve, you are going to stand out so much more, because like, you are willing to lean in when others are just tapping out. Again, like, you can do this at the same time that you're like spending more time with family or volunteering more with the kids' schools or church or whatever, but like, you can still have all this going out, building relationships and leaning in, even though you're not necessarily like being in it. So again, like, if you want literal logistics and organize and implement pieces of that, go back, there's some previous live streams, or just message me and I'll send you the link. But this is really when you get to like, you do so much. Like if you're leaning in, you're doing so much more than most people are this time of year if they're tapping out or they're just posting pictures of their Christmas trees, or no, nothing against that. I posted a picture of my Christmas tree this week too, but I'm still selling on that. Like your potential clients will know you because you're still there and you're still speaking to their problem and their pain point. So, you know, again, this doesn't mean you take time or you can't, this doesn't mean you can't take time off and you can still have this juicy stuff go out while you're gone. Like you can take time off and all of this stuff, you can still sell every day. People buy from me while I'm on vacation. Like I still have stuff going out. Like people book calls with me while I'm on vacation. I took the month of July off and I came back with like a bunch of calls booked because of the stuff I had going out while I was gone. You can just set yourself up for that. So again, reach out for the replays about literally how to do that, because this is so important. Because if everyone else who sells kind of the same thing you do is kind of just tapping out and not speaking to the problem they solve or speaking to their clients and what's potential, like you are just going to stand out even more because you're literally the one there. So let me know if y'all have any questions. So the fourth strategy piece, this is what I love to talk about. See what's working. Keep doing more of that. I know I talk about this a lot, but it's why I'm so sold on data. Like that client I just talked about that had a ton of visits to the landing page. We knew where they came from. We knew that this platform was working. We knew that this specific strategy was working. But when they got to the landing page, they weren't doing anything. And so now we're looking at the landing page. That's when we're refining the messaging. That's when we're tweaking. Whereas she could have gone over here and been like, I don't know, let's just like change this whole offer or change the price or change all this stuff. And it's like, no, we know that this is working. We're not going to mess with this. Now we just need to refine this. So this is not the time of year to like really, I mean, and obviously I'm not your coach, so I can't tell you what to do, but I don't love like starting something new, like a new strategy or rolling out something new. Like just as me as a mom of 3, I'm like, that just sounds exhausting right now. But if that is up your alley, go for it. You do you. But I do think this is the time of year where a lot of people are just like, you know, if they're going to buy from you, it's probably because you've built a relationship and they've heard of what you're offering. So obviously you can offer something this new this time of year, but just know that like it might be next year before you're really seeing the results from that, just because it's noisy and people kind of need the time to like get to know you and get on board with it. So that's the piece. I don't know why I kind of went on a tangent about that, but this is the time, because this is the time of year to see what's already working and use your energy and use the time that you have to do that. So I'm kind of leaning out now, you know, like we've got a lot of stuff going on personally and with the family and then leaving town. So like, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm already doing and just doing that with like extra energy and extra excitement and extra just like, you know, like, ooh, this is so juicy and good, instead of just being like, oh, I need to like take what little time and energy I have to do something else. Like I already know the things that work because I can literally see it on the back end. And so I just get to be like, this just gets to be my focus. I don't have to worry about anything else over here. I don't have to start anything new. Like my brain power and energy and team spend go to these things because I know they work. So that is so important. If you don't know what's working, I invite you to figure it out. That is the best thing you can do for your business. Look at your past few clients. Where do they come from? What kind of content do you see converting? Like have all of that at your fingertips so that you can just keep using that. So that's kind of it for today. But we talked about, I'll just recap, the mindset piece and really getting yourself on board, because it's like the whole expectancy theory thing. You know, we get what we expect. Also normalizing this, that people can buy from you now. They can buy from you any time of the year. Thinking about your future identity. Who is she? What is she telling you? And then just like celebrating where you are, being grateful, leaning into getting support from God, Source, Universe, all of that good stuff. And then the 4 strategy pieces are nurturing relationships. That's literally where every client will come from. It's coming from a relationship that you've built, whether that's a month ago, 3 weeks ago, 10 months ago, like whatever that is, it's from a relationship. So make sure you are focusing on relationships and cultivating and curating those. The second one is looking at your messaging. Make sure it is on point. Make sure it's very clear. Get an outside perspective. This is something my clients are always asking for support on, is they send me their landing page, their emails, their promos, whatever, and they get my eyes on it, because there's so many things that like they're just not connecting the dots for their people, or they're not speaking to why them, or they're not speaking to their results that they know are possible. So maybe get an outside perspective. Again, we have that intensive in December open if you want some support there. Number 3, lean in when other people are leaning out. Like, be the person that is still speaking to someone's problem that they can solve now, because a lot of people aren't. And so you are the person to keep supporting them and meeting them where they're at. And then number 4, see what's working. Use your precious time, your precious energy, your precious money to do more of what's working, and not like spin yourself out in 50 different directions. So if you feel like your mindset is in the gutter and you don't know how to book clients, or your messaging isn't connecting with your people, or you don't have a process to build relationships, I hear you. I got you. We have my free 10K content strategy audit call. So if you want to think about doing the intensive in December, this free call is just like a no-brainer. It's the precursor to that. It's 30 minutes of literal free support. This is part of my building relationships piece. Like, I want to support you for free. I get to hone my craft of being a coach. I get to learn about you and your business and support you where you're at. So this is not like a cookie cutter template. Like, I don't get on the phone and tell everyone the same thing. Like, it is literally you and your business. So we've got, what is this? The end of November. We have like a few spots in December, but I'm not going crazy with them. So I'll drop the link below, but be sure to grab yours, because I only do a couple weeks and we've only got like 2 weeks left of these. So grab your spot, or otherwise I'll see you in January. But it was so great to see y'all today. Again, ask your questions, comments, ahas, takeaways, put them below. And thank you so much for being here. I hope this was super helpful and super informative for you, and you can take it and run with it in your business. So I will see you next week. We'll be back same time, same place. And thanks again. Have a great week.